For the past month, I've been testing out a new Amazon FBA repricer, and if you're a reseller, a repricer is really important so that you can make sure that you actually get the buy box. There's just so much competition when you're doing retail arbitrage that you really need to have the buy box a high percentage of time to get a lot of sales. If you don't know what a repricer is, it's just a software that links with your Amazon FBA account and changes your price for you all the time so that you can keep the buy box as much as possible. That way you don't have to worry about that every hour of every day, it'll just do all that work for you. Pretty much ever since I've been selling on Amazon, I've had some sort of repricer, but until this past month, it was pretty much just racing my price to the bottom, which would get me the buy box, but I would end up selling a lot of things at a loss or for very, very small profit. So a month ago, I upgraded to BQool, and it'd be cool if you liked the video. I promise that's the only one. I explained a lot of my reasons in a different video, but BQool has both AI repricing and rules-based repricing so that you can tell it what you want it to do, but it also has machine learning involved so it can learn your competition and help to get you the buy box more and higher prices when you're in the buy box. Here's my brutally honest review of both of those, which is backed by some numbers that we'll get to, but I also do have a giveaway at the end of the video if you want to stick around for that. That BQool was cool enough to give you guys. I promise, that's it, I'm done. When I made that initial video changing my repricer, you might remember that I said we can also check back in those 2 weeks when my trial is up and see if I should upgrade my account. Now there is a reason that it's been a month, and we'll get to that, rather than just those 2 weeks, but at the 2-week mark I did sit down because my free trial was ending, because I didn't get the free trial that I'm about to give you guys, but I wanted to see what the free trial of pretty much all rules-based listings would do for me, and so here are the numbers from that. Today is when I was going to actually shoot the full review for BQool, but you already know that because you watched the intro to the video. It's been almost exactly 2 weeks since I started my trial, and I know that because they say that I have 24 hours left, and they sent that 22 hours ago. Just right off the bat, first impressions, I've really enjoyed BQool so far. I think it has a good user interface. And let's dive right into the numbers so that I can explain why before I show you which plans there are and which one I'm going to be getting. Alright, I've taken a couple of screenshots from Inventory Labs to show what the difference between using this repricer and the one that I had been using before is. Now all these numbers are going to be profit percentages, the amount of the total sales that are profit. This is just July so far. I signed up for the trial on July 5th, but I think like 9 hours after I signed up for the trial, we left for vacation. I didn't check my analytics at all. I didn't mess with the repricing past simply setting it up. Speaking of, when I had set it up, I initially had set the minimum return on investment to be 50%, which is what I still have it as, but the maximum price to be 300% return on investment. And then I just used my rule that we made in the last video. But that came with its own set of problems that we'll get to after we talk through the numbers. And it explains why some of the numbers are potentially lower than what they might have been. So back to July's profit percentages. We see the first couple of days, the first 3 days, it was 19.44%. And then the 4th through the 10th, which should include about 4 days of repricing, so about half of that week, it was 19.95%. We'll get to why that wasn't quite as accurate as it should have been in a second, but then the 11th through the 17th, it was 26.34%, and then the 18th through 24th so far, it's been 22.21%. Let's see how that stacks up against the past couple of months. In January, I had a really good profit percentage, 26.72%, and then after that, it's been kind of consistently around 21%. And then since June, it's been going down, 19.81, and then this first couple of weeks was again around 19.5%. And then we can see July is already at 22.74% overall, even including the first half, which was 19.95. If we were to average all of these first 6 months, we would get 21.97%. So our 22.74 in July is already over that, even with those bad first couple of weeks. And if we were to extrapolate the July rate over the first 6 months, we would have $417 more in profit over that whole time. Now, the plan that I had signed up for was the $50 a month plan. I already did have a $17 per month repricer, so I essentially would have paid $200 more for this repricer and potentially would have made $400 more in profit, which would keep $200 more in my pocket. But if we were to extrapolate 25%, instead of just the 22.74, we would get $1,649.85 more in profit. And that is kind of sad to me because it feels like you're spending more money having a nicer repricer, but because I would have spent $200 more on it, I would have earned back potentially $1,400 more in profit. So just after those first 2 weeks, BQool had already paid for itself. But if we look at the numbers throughout the month, profit percentage turned out to be 21.44%. And then in the start of August, it's actually creeped up to about 24% just over these first few days. But that's honestly lower than I would have wanted it to be. It's obviously higher than it had been over the past 2.5 months, but I think even this trend up that I see in the first couple of days of August shows why it was not necessarily BQool's fault that it was so low during the rest of July. Not even so low, just lower than what I would have wanted. The main problem, like I've got to in other videos, is that I didn't really send in a lot of inventory to Amazon in July, which means that a lot of my replenishments actually sold out since I used to buy them on a 2-week basis instead of keeping a couple months worth of inventory of them. So a lot of my dead stock was the stuff that was selling, and I was trying to get rid of that at lower prices, which might explain some of it. But even just over the last 2 weeks, since I've recorded that previous section, it was still about 2 percentage points above what it had been over the past 2.5 months, which is over $60 more more of profit, which means that BQool paid for itself more than twice in that month, which is what you want from your repricer, even when you have a bad Amazon month like I did. Now, this happened for a couple of reasons. Like I said, I sold some stuff that had just been sitting on Amazon for a while, but I also sold items for higher prices than I had been used to getting them at, and I explained that a couple weeks ago as well. I pulled some of the sales that happened over the past couple of weeks while I've had this new repricer, and a lot of cool things have happened. First off, this right here is a phone case that I bought from Walmart on clearance that had been sitting at Amazon for a while and hadn't sold, and it just sold after putting on this repricer. Here's another phone case that sold. You can see the sell price was $22.75. If you look at the Amazon listing now, it's $16.10. Now that's where this item has sold for me over the past couple of months, which I mean, even though I would see that I could get back $25 or $30 potentially, I would only be returning like 50 cents to $1 rather than $5 to $6 on a $10 purchase. Not only did I sell it once for this $22.75, I also sold it again for $22.94 instead of $17. So I made an extra $10 just on those two items. These also were some earbuds that were $19.99 is what I had been selling them for, and I sold it for $10 more. And then another pair of them for $19.99 that I had sold for $26.71. Now the reason I know that those would have sold for $19.99 is because they would have kept getting repriced down to the bottom with the old repricer that I had, and so I just took the repricer off and kept it at $19.99 because I know it would sell there. But now that I have a minimum return on investment, this repricer can move my price up and down so that I can earn more profit, which obviously is what had happened. And then as in more examples, those Under Armour things that we've been buying a lot of, that one sold for about 50 cents more than it would have because I set all of them at $19.49 since I didn't want to reprice them because I knew that they'd be repriced to the bottom. And this one sold for $16.72, which is at least 50% return on investment, but at least it sold, which makes me more confident in buying more Under Armour stuff. And this isn't nearly all the stuff that it sold. It's just some examples to show that I probably would have been able to return a higher return on investment and probably sell more if I had had this better repricer than the one that I had been using, or even just a better repricing strategy. But the repricer does do a lot. And those Under Armour socks are a great example of the main reason I wanted to switch my repricer and what BQool is actually able to do for me this past month, which is essentially just making my life easier. If you've been on my channel before, you know I'm not trying to spend a ton of time reselling. I'm just trying to use it to buy time to do other things that I'm passionate about in life and business. So anything that helps me to think less about my Amazon business and spend more time doing other things, I'm really appreciative of. So back to Under Armour. When I had bought these, I was using the different repricer, and because of that, I knew that it would just raise my price to the bottom. And because prices had adjusted since I had bought the item, I already saw that I'd be selling them either at like a 10% profit or at a little bit of a loss. And so I just took my repricer off of it and set prices of $14.49 or $19.49 depending on how much I had bought them for. But on such a high competition listing, the reason that you want a repricer is so that you can adjust your price to match buy boxes and win it more. And I knew that there was pretty much no chance that I would win the buy box if other people on that listing had repricers, which they obviously did. But with BQool, I was able to set my minimum prices based on a 50% return on investment. So that way, because I knew that the items had more value than what they were selling for on Amazon, I could just wait that out, especially because when a lot of things are purchased at a Ross by me, I know that there are a lot of other resellers who are buying the same type of items. That oftentimes causes a race to the bottom until most people sell out. And if you're able to wait that out, you can earn much higher return on investments like I've shown in some other videos. And to be honest, I would have sold a lot more volume if I had my other repricer on it, and I would have been able to get some of that money back, but I would have made almost no profit on it. And that was all right in the beginning because I wanted to make sure that I was flipping as much as I possibly could, which meant the more volume, the better, even if it was very minimal return on investment. But obviously that's not super sustainable as you're taking income out of something and as you just build up your inventory library. So now with BQool, I'm able to not only wait out those higher prices, but also able to stay competitive within a range of minimum and maximum prices that's based on my cost. And to be completely honest, every time that something sells now that I know I've been waiting on, I just feel like a smarter reseller because I know that I waited out that higher return on investment and it's going to pay dividends for me, especially because a lot of these items you can't get again, so might as well wait on getting a higher profit because you can't just restock them like a lot of items that you can from other stores. Now for the first 2 weeks and all those sales we've already talked about have all been done on rules-based repricing. And I was pretty happy with it, but you have to create your own rules, which is a little bit tedious, and you really only have your own experience to draw from or watching some other YouTube videos, but everybody's businesses are different, everything that everyone sells is different, and so I was really excited to try out BQool's AI repricing. I told you in the previous video that I was going to do 10 AI listings and the rest of them be rules-based, except I didn't really feel like that would be a good enough sample size. So after speaking with BQool a little bit and realizing that their AI repricing tries to actually look at what your competition is doing and win the buy box based on that, as well as raising your price while you're in the buy box so everybody earns more profit, I knew I had to try it and couldn't give you guys a full review without touching on the AI repricing. Let's change from the free trial into the actual BQool subscription plan. Gonna head on over to BQool.com, log in real quick, and then up here we have 0 days left. So we're just gonna hit subscribe now. Let's talk to a couple of different plans that they offer. We are selling in the US marketplace. I'm gonna do a build annually plan, plan because it'll save me 10%. You could also do it billed monthly. Here are the plans that they offer. RB means rule-based, and AI means artificial intelligence. So if you just have 1,000 listings and you want to create your own rule, which is something I go over in my last video, you can pay $22.50 a month, billed annually, about $25 per month if you don't bill it annually. If you want to just test out the waters for AI, you can do 10 AI listings and 5,000 rules-based listings for $45 a month, $50 a month billed monthly. Probably the best deal, and we'll see if that's the case over the next couple of weeks, which is what I'm going to be testing and getting back to you when this video actually goes live, is the 1,000 AI listings, 10,000 rule-based listings plan, because I only have 300 something listings, but I want to do all of them AI based because the machine learning will learn my competition, and then I'll be able to get an even higher profit percentage, which we'll be able to test in just a couple of weeks. That one is $90 a month or $100 per month if you bill it monthly. But even just in that little test that we saw, especially if the AI listings do better profit percentage wise than just the normal 5,000 listing plan, it should definitely be worth it. But we'll see. So that's the one that I'm going to go with, is the 1,100 listing plan. Add that one to the cart. And then the cool thing with this one too is that you can also get sales reports. And then the other big thing is that you have instant repricing rather than 15-minute repricing speeds. If you have the 5,010 listing plan, as you can see, you don't get the sales reports, and it takes 15 minutes for the repricing to take effect. And instant is just going to give you that moment by moment repricing to make sure that you're doing better than your competition and winning the buy box more. Authorizing the credit card, paid. If you're on the fence about BQool or even just trying out a repricer in general, especially because of the $50 or $100 per month price tag, I was actually able to talk with BQool and get a special free trial for you guys. Now, all their free trials don't require any credit card to sign up, and this video isn't sponsored by them, but it is an affiliate link that will support the channel, and this is what the upgrade looks like. Normally, they'll give you a 14-day free trial if you just go to their website, and most of the other affiliate links are 14 days because they actually gave me the option of 14 or 30 days, and obviously 30 days would be better for you guys. But with that 14-day free trial, normally you're only getting the 5,000 rule-based and 10 AI listing plan that I started with, which definitely can be good, but why would you not want to get something better for the same free price? I sound like I'm trying to sell you. I just think it's a good service. I'm really not trying to be a salesman. You can do whatever you want with this. If you don't just go through the normal channels, but you use my link in the description, not only will you support me by actually signing on for a fully paid membership after your free trial is up, but your free trial will be upgraded from the normal 5,000 listings to the 10,000 listing plan, which includes 1,000 AI listings, which will cover most resellers if they want to do all their listings through AI, as long as you make sure you purge your listings. But on top of that, your free trial will also be upgraded from a 14-day free trial to a 30-day free trial. Like I said, and you just saw, you don't actually need to put in your credit card information until the end of your free trial, and it'll have a timer saying how many days are left in your trial. But even though you don't have to put in your credit card information, you do actually have to reach out to support@BQool.com and let them know that you use my Anthony Bodanza's link in order to sign up, and they'll manually upgrade your free trial. They just said that they don't do it automatically because otherwise the free trial system can get pretty well abused. So whether you want an extended free trial to see if BQool will be right for you, or you just want a free month worth of repricing, I won't tell anybody. After you set that up though, you'll actually need to set up your AI rules, and here's how that went for me. All right, so previously, I had done everything rules-based. I didn't have any AI repricing, so I'm gonna put AI on all of my stuff now. There are 3 AI rules. Nope, there are actually 5 AI rules now. They changed it while I was in the middle of recording this video. You used to have AI conservative, moderate, and aggressive, I think is what they called them, but now there are actually 5 AI rules. Sales maximizer, which goes for more volume and less profit. Sales booster, AI equalizer, AI profit booster, and profit maximizer. You can tell what it focuses on based on how many stars it is for sales versus profit. You're about to hear me say AI moderate. That one got changed to AI equalizer, but we'll get into that more in a second. All right, let me figure out how to change this. Listings. Oh yeah, set minimum, maximum price, and rule. So in here, I'm just gonna set the rule to AI moderate. Now it's pending. We're setting the rule right now just for those first 20 listings. So I'm gonna go through all my listings and change it to AI moderate. I also gotta make sure that my maximum price is set correctly, and my minimum price I still am keeping at 50% return on investment. So no matter what, if anything sells, I know I've made at least 50% return on investment, which is really good. I am thinking that I might change that as things move along, meaning that if something's just been sitting at Amazon and hasn't sold in months, I'll probably adjust that down to 30%, 20%, depending on how long it's been there. But I think I'll probably be able to sell out of most of my stuff at the 50% return on investment. I really think that the AI repricing is going to do well for that. So far, I've been super stoked on BQool. It's already made me hundreds of dollars more in profit than I would have made otherwise, and sold me out of some of the products that have just been sitting at Amazon for 3 or 4 months. And that's really the main benefit for me, confidence to move forward in my business. I would buy things before and just hope that I would get the profit that I thought that I would be getting when I was purchasing it, because I knew prices fluctuate, especially as more resellers are buying the same thing that I am at Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, all those places. But now that I have minimums based on return on investment, I know that I'll be making profit no matter matter if my repricer hits its bottom. That means that even though some things might take longer to sell, which is what I've experienced a little bit because I'm not actually selling things at a loss anymore, my time is actually gonna make me more money because I'm still spending the same amount of time buying things and shipping them into Amazon. But now that my repricer is gonna make me more profit, those hours just became more profitable because on the back end, I'm a little smarter. That being said, nothing is perfect. And here's the first issue that I found with BQool right when I got back from my vacation after initially setting it up. Now, the reason that the profit percentage wasn't as good as it probably could have been the first 4 days that I had it on all of my items is because when I got back from vacation, this is what my stranded inventory screen looked like. So many items. I think it was over 50 or 60 items. And that's just because the price was way too high. I had a lot of high pricing errors. So some low pricing errors because I had set minimum prices before that I had put because my repricer was repricing it too low. So if it repriced it too low, I would have Amazon strand the inventory. But now that I have it based at a 50% return on investment at the very bottom, I'm comfortable taking off those low pricing errors because I know that no matter what, I'll be making money. But I also had a ton of high pricing errors. That's because I had set the maximum price to 300% return on investment, which sometimes is too high. But I had done that just because I knew I'd probably have to go back in and change it, which is what I did, which is why my profit percentage went up because more stuff sold at a better profit. But even if you set your minimum price to a return on investment across all of your items, you'll still have to change your maximum price to make sense because sometimes you might have an item that can return you up to 300% return on investment. Sometimes the maximum is like 110%. So just change it to an actual price that makes sense, which wouldn't be too hard to do, especially if you purge your listings, because I went from when I started having 1,308 listings to now having only 356 listings. That'll make repricing cheaper for me. Good to know it was mostly user error, but I did have one other problem in regard to stranded inventory. Based on some advice that I've gotten from a few different sources, including Joji Resells, always support and appreciate you, but a good practice is to set a schedule for your repricer to turn off every night and then turn back on an hour later. Now during this time, your repricer is actually going to hit its maximum price. That way, when it turns back on, all the prices will be higher. And that way, if you're repricing against a lot of people, hopefully the prices will reset overnight and you'll be able to reprice back down at a higher average price than you were either the day before because more people sold out, or even just starting the day at a higher price will be better for you anyways. The problem with that is if you don't set up your maximum price correctly, you might end up with a screen that looks like this every morning. Currently, I have 50 units stranded, and it's been like that almost every day that I've opened on my computer over the past week or so. Now, the reason this happens is because when your inventory is stranded, it becomes deactivated. And those deactivated listings are in a different part of BQool here. So before BQool will start repricing it again, you have to go into Seller Central and change the price, and then it'll start repricing it because it won't be delisted anymore. Now, this happened because most of the time I was just guessing maximum prices, and if the price was too high and it triggered a high pricing error, Amazon would delist the listing, obviously, and then it wouldn't be picked back up in the morning. What's interesting about that, though, is I talked about that in my day in the life video that I posted Monday, and I didn't actually change anything in BQool. I didn't update my maximum prices. I just lowered the prices on the listings that were stranded, and I haven't actually had that issue since. My guess is because I'm using AI repricing, the machine learning has realized that when you set it at that high of a price, nothing actually happens and it loses the listing, and so maybe it's just learned now that it can't set the price that high when it comes back on. Because I did have that problem all the time when I was using rules-based listings, but now that I'm on AI, I only had it like 1 or 2 days and then it was gone. Now, the last main issue that I have is that I don't think I set up BQool to actually do what I wanted it to do in my business, and so a few days ago I realized this. So one other thing that I found interesting about BQool, and a part of me is grateful for it, a part of me doesn't enjoy it too much, is that I've noticed some of the items that I've been selling a high volume of aren't selling as much. I'm almost certain that I know the reason for this, so I'm going to try to change it now, but it's not on a lot of items, but some items I've sold some recently for way higher profits. Let me get you an example because I just bought it. Something like this guy, where as you can see, I have right now 57 on hand. A lot of that's because I just shipped in a bunch of them. With where the buy box is, you get back 417, but my price is at 949. Now I know that my minimum price is lower, probably closer to what the buy box price is in BQool. So if we go to the history, we'll see that all time I've sold 78, but in the last 30 days, only 9 of them. But the profit has gone up dramatically from what it normally is. Now that's something that I buy for around $2.25. So to get back a profit of $3.38 is phenomenal, but to get back a profit of $2.14, like I had been for the past 90 days and averaging all time, is also really good. So then it comes down to the question of, do I wait for the higher profit or do I sell more volume? And my personal preference is as long as I'm making a decent profit, I don't want to just wait out the higher profit margin, especially since I'm the only FBA offer. If my price can match theirs or be close to theirs where I can win the buy box and then all of mine will sell, I'll get that money back to go flip again. And what that would probably look like even with that item, because it is a pretty high volume item, if I drop down my potential profit to where it was before, sure, I'll only be making about 80% instead of 140%, but I might sell 2 or 3 times as many, which would mean that I would replenish that more often as long as I'm doing well about it. So if over the same period of time I'm selling 2 times as much at the lower profit as I would be at the higher profit, I'm actually making more money because instead of returning 140%, I'm returning 160%. And so on items like those and some other ones where I'm noticing that the price is hovering higher than where I might want it to be, I can either bring down my maximum, but I'd rather not do that because if I win the buy box, I'd hope that BQool could shoot it up to that higher price. Instead, this is what we're gonna do. So if we enter into BQool and we go to repricing rules, AI equalizer is what the moderate one was, which is why most of my listings are there. Then I have 42, which are all my books, and the sales booster, which was the aggressive one. But it looks like they added one that's even more aggressive, which is called sales maximizer, which reprices aggressively to maximize sales rather than dynamically to generate sales. Those sound kind of similar, but I think I'm gonna change my AI equalizer, which right now says it's repricing moderately to balance sales and profit, to one of these that reprices either aggressively or dynamically so that I can generate the most sales, because I have my minimum set, so I know I'm gonna be making money no matter what, and I'm really comfortable with that. And I would rather just get that money back to me so that I can respend it instead of just waiting for a higher profit. But that's a really hard balance to try to strike between the right amount of volume and the right amount of profit. So let's go ahead and change this together. We're gonna go into our listings here, and we're gonna go to active listings. So we're gonna go all the way up here to bulk actions, and then set minimum, maximum, pricing, and rule. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna go over here and just select all my listings. Then we'll go back to bulk actions, set minimum, maximum, price, and rule. And then we're gonna set the rule to sales maximizer. Save that guy. You can refresh the status to see how many it's done so far. It's gonna take a little bit. It's still pending. It might take like 10 minutes, but this was one of the things that was a little bit difficult for me to figure out on this repricer, because it's really easy to blame the software when I really just think it's my error of not understanding exactly what I want, because the way that I feel most comfortable reselling is aggressively pricing all my items, which is why I was comfortable making a lot of sales with relatively little profit for a long time, as we know, because it just took me until now to change my repricer. Glad that I now have one that has minimum prices to hit, but I'm going to try to reprice really aggressively so that I can get all of those sales, because to me, inventory isn't the most important, cash is. And if I can turn that inventory into cash, even if it's a little bit less than it maybe could be, it'll probably be faster, because I know that I can turn that cash into more cash, especially if things are selling quickly. Now this was back on July 29th, and after the 29th, this is what happened. The 29th, the 30th, and then these three bars are much higher than they were before because it's maximizing my sales rather than my profits, but obviously my profits are still at an acceptable range, and I haven't really even seen them take a dip. A lot of that has to do with how conservatively I'm setting my minimum return on investments, and this is without me sending any additional inventory into Amazon. We have a giveaway to get to, but I just want to say that overall, I'm really happy with how BQool turned out for this month, which is why I upgraded to the 1,000 listing plan, and I'm now paying for it out of my business. The main thing is I'm much less worried about my Amazon business, and I don't even need to keep the app on my phone anymore. I literally only re-downloaded it so I could show you this in this video. Because I would used to check it all the time to make sure that my prices weren't tanking, and I could take my repricer off of an item, or I could adjust the price up if I needed to manually. But now that I trust my repricer and I have minimum set that I'm comfortable selling everything at, I don't have to worry about that anymore. This also makes me way more confident to send inventory into Amazon, because I used to just send it in, like I said, and hope that I would end up selling it for a profit. But now I know that I will, and I'm able to wait on those profits without having to do too much active work in my Amazon business. I really like the AI repricer over the rules-based repricer because first off, it's instant repricing, you get the sales reports, and on top of that, machine learning I do think is really good. And even if you think you'd be better with the rules-based repricer, might as well try out the AI repricer for free for 30 days, and then you can just always downgrade to whatever plan you want to actually subscribe to, or you don't even have to subscribe to a plan if you don't want to. But here's something kind of crazy cool for you that I didn't think I would be able to do at my level of channel yet. Just like BQool reached out to me after the first video with an upgraded free trial and a special link for you guys, they also told me that I could do a giveaway of 1 year worth of repricing worth up to $600. The official giveaway rules will be linked down below, but here's what you need to know. The repricing plan that they're giving away is the 5,000 rules-based 10 AI repricing plan, but I did reach out to them and they said that if you wanted to get the 1,000 AI repricing plan, you'd be able to use this as a credit towards that plan. So instead of paying $100 a month, you'd be paying $50 a month for that plan, since the prize is 1 year free repricing worth up to $600. Here's how you're gonna enter. I'm gonna have a pinned comment down below. All you have to do is reply to that pinned comment on this video, and the funnier the better, just in case that you win and just to make me laugh. And then you have to be subscribed to the channel and like this video. Now there is absolutely no way that I can enforce this because your channel subscriptions can be private and I can't tell who likes my videos, so I don't know why so many people say that you have to do that to enter. But I am gonna ask you, and if you're not subscribed or you don't like the video, you're gonna hurt my feelings. And that'd be sad. How the winner is gonna be chosen is going to be from starting today at 12 p.m. August 4th when this video is posted, which happened earlier. So somehow if you commented on my pinned comment before that, you're a wizard or a time traveler, I don't know. Through 9 p.m. on August 18th, 2021, this is all in the EST, Eastern Time Zone. That's when the sweepstakes is gonna run. So if it's past August 18th, 2021, you can at least get a month for free. The winner is gonna be chosen by random on a live drawing. There's obviously no purchase necessary to enter this. So 9:30 on the 18th, I'm gonna end up scheduling a live stream, which will be 30 minutes after the deadline to enter, and we'll actually pick by random entry on that live stream. So it'd be cool if you'd be there to see if you won. After the winner is chosen, I'm gonna reply to their comment down in that thread, and then they can reach me at Bodanza or Anthony Bodanza YT for YouTube at gmail.com or on Instagram at AMBDNZA. But all of that will be laid out in the official rules in the description. Like I said, official rules will be below, and there is only one entry per person. So if you comment more than once on that thread, you're only gonna get one entry, and I will not be collecting any personal information from you because I'm just gonna be using that comments and I'm not gonna be collecting any emails this time. So good commenting, watch my initial switch over to BQool here, watch my last sourcing vlog over here, and watch what a day in the life looks like for me over here, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace.